Okay, so it's live now. We're actually live.
All right, very
Okay,
good.
fantastic. All right, well, welcome everyone to Supercharged Sunday with me, Emily McHugh, and my fantastic guest, Ms. Ellen Contreras. Woo!
Hi,
Right, hold on.
everybody.
Okay, let me just get the mechanics in order. Okay, stop that. No need to double back up talking. All right. So I don't know if you see that on the page, Ellen, on my page, but it's live now, so you could like share it if you want to share it there.
Yeah, so I'm on the Supercharge page. Oh, wait, no, I'm on Emily the Entrepreneur page.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I
here we
know. I'm
are. Look
gonna.
at this. I'm just going to share right now. Okay, join
Okay,
us. We're live.
I'm actually trying to share into my group, and it's not letting me. Okay, yeah. All right, here we go. Share into the group. Okay, good. All right, everybody, just we're coming, getting this thing all broadcast. Our international network of sharing here has to take place. Okay. All right. So we're so excited today. We have Ellen, who may not be a stranger to some of you and maybe new to some the rest of you, but after today, she'll be a stranger to no one. And so I'm so happy to have her as a member of my Facebook group, Supercharged with Emily, which is all about supercharging your business and your business strategy and starting right from the start. So Ellen is a longtime friend of mine who is quite the business professional on the sales, marketing, business development level spectrum. She's covered a full spectrum of activity on business, and she's a networking whiz kid. And so she's known as the Treasure Coast Connector. And the Treasure Coast is the region of Florida where we're located, which spans from Indian River County in the north, St. Lucie County, Martin County, and north of Palm Beach County. Well, basically, it's the east coast of Florida, halfway between Miami and Orlando, to make it nice and simple. So, Ellen, welcome, and tell us more about you and what makes you the Treasure Coast Connector that you are.
Well, thank you, Emily. I'm so happy to be a part of this. Anytime we do anything together, it's always a lot of fun. I appreciate that very much. And I am called the Treasure Coast Connector because people have said throughout the years, thank you for connecting me to so and so. You're quite the connector. It's come up a lot. So I'm like, oh, okay, I like that. And I'm calling myself Treasure Coast Connector. A lot of my work is done on the Treasure Coast. I live in Vero Beach, but I do work with people outside of the area quite often. And so one of the things about me, one of the fun things that I do is I have a weekly talk show. Originally 2 years ago, it started out on iHeartRadio. And that's awesome enough. I'm on WCZR 101.7 FM on Saturdays at 3, Sundays at 9. And the range for that station is Stewart all the way up to Melbourne. Then Planet Vero expanded myself and the other talk show hosts to Spreaker as a podcast. And we are also on channel 1098 on Xfinity Buzz TV network. Unfortunately, that channel is going through a little bit of a change due to the passing unexpectedly of the previous owner. So they're reworking that channel, but we'll be back up and running hopefully really soon. I also have a live stream, a Vimeo live stream page. And I interview business owners that for the most part are on the Treasure Coast or do business in the area. I want to put a spotlight on people. They have so many interesting stories of why they started their business. So I want people to know about that and basically connect the business owners to the community at large. And when they come on my show afterwards, they get the video clip that they can use for their ongoing marketing. So I love win-win situations. So it's a win-win-win, for me, the business owners, and the people that watch and listen. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, it's great to have to see the how everything connects, no pun
Mhm.
intended, but everything
Yeah.
is linked and is tied together. And there's really no better person to discuss our topic today about increasing your sphere of influence and what that means and how that can be used to grow your business.
Mhm.
So without any further ado, we're going to dive right on into it. How did you come up with that topic today? What is it about one sphere of influence that we need to hone in
Yeah,
on?
I think because, we are now a year into the pandemic, we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel with people getting vaccinated, people getting out and about in the world, events happening again, and business owners have, pivoted beautifully. But I think that we just have to understand that we really should get to know the people that we have come across in networking or through friends and family, people that we do business with. And I think that we're learning even more so the importance of getting work done through alliances and helping one another. And this is something that I've been doing naturally for years. I truly do like helping people. And I think that, when people hear the word karma or we reap what we sow, there are plenty of times that people have gone out of their way to help me for no other reason than to help me. And I sometimes can reciprocate directly, but maybe not always. But there's that pay it forward aspect. So when I can help others, I love to do that. And it just what goes around comes around. And I just wanted to share some things that I have learned that might help other people. And in particular, we are having more people now start a business than ever before. So they have to change and shift their mindset from being an employee to being a business owner and tapping into your sphere of influence, creating one, enlarging it, working it is more important than ever before. You don't want people to just sit at their office and use social media and advertising and think that that's going to be all that they need to bring dollars to their door. There's a lot more that goes into it, and sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone. So, and you and I are very good about getting out of our comfort zone.
Yes, and I guess that might be somewhat the answer to what I was just going to ask you about what would be the most foundational thing that people need to be aware of to shift from being that employee mindset to an more entrepreneurial mindset. And that what you just said, shifting out of your comfort zone is
Yeah.
one of the first steps you have to take. But also keeping in mind that even if you do work for another business or another company, you still need to have approach it from an entrepreneurial perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what I think the biggest shift is. So whether you're starting your own company or you're still working for another entity, you still want to have that approach and the idea of, I believe in the concept of multiple streams of income and that you don't rely on any one thing. If one thing goes, that's not a problem. You have this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mindset that I personally subscribe to. So Ellen, how do we, first of all, how do we identify the sphere of influence? So
Yes, and what I wanted to say to you about that is with multiple streams of income, that's actually what I built my business on is I want to help other people grow and develop their business. And I know what I can offer. There are certain things that I can help with directly, but there are certain things like for example, bookkeeping, that's just not in my wheelhouse. So I have alliances with incredibly smart people and other companies where I am talking to the business owners and then seeing how I can help them and aligning them with the right people to provide either outsourced services or I have a recruiting company that's amazing that I work with when my client needs someone on their payroll directly. And then Indian River Magazine. I've been a big fan of Gregory N's publications. And I'm working with him directly now too, because a lot of my clients are needing the branding and awareness and advertising. So yeah, so I'm all about multiple revenue streams. But to circle back, I like to use the term sphere of influence. When you think about the people that you are connected to, you want to create a win-win situation. And there are people that that can, bring business to you, and you could do the same for them. So it's people that know and like and trust you. And when you're out and about, whether it is networking or maybe you've joined a social media group, or how I like to sometimes go, I call it gallivanting and going out cold calling on businesses or on the phone. The whole point is before people will want to work with you, they have to get to know you. So that's why you're building that sphere of influence. And so that's what that is. And the second thing I wanted to touch on is I touched on it just a moment ago a little bit, but I feel like there are four main areas of where your sphere of influence resides. And and I have to say very quickly, a little aside, I saw a really cute social media post. It was an article about a young man, and I want to say from the New Orleans area, in car sales. And he did this cute little song and dance on social media about where the money resides. And it's so entertaining and adorable. But when we think about it as business owners, and that's what he was trying to say, is where does the money reside for him? Where do the potential sales reside? So again, friends and family. You might start a business, and somebody that you are friends with might actually know people that could be potential clients for you. But if you don't let your friends and family know what it is that you're doing or services that you've expanded, then they can't help you. Social media pages. Who are you connected to? I love to share personally when I see things in my news feed, and I love to share people's events, what maybe they have a special that they're advertising. It could be a post that they've paid for or an organic post that they've created. And I'm like, ooh, like, okay, I'm wearing a beautiful charm, Lisa Ionelli, okay? And so I share her stuff a lot because I have some of her pendants. I love her work, makes me happy to share. And because of that, other business owners are constantly reaching out to connect with me on my social media pages. So I have reached out because of the pandemic. We're sitting in our home offices or wherever our offices are. And I've reached out with emails and phone calls to say to some people, a few times a day, every day I'll do this. And I'll call or email them. Oh, your company is interesting. Thank you for reaching out to connect with me. And that's actually led to meetings, and it's led to business. But it's also led me to be able to connect them to other people once I get to know them. So another thing, networking groups. And Emily, quick question for you. How many business cards would you say that you have? That you have collected over the years? How many business
you mean that
cards?
I personally?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
that I've collected from people as opposed to the ones that I have that I give to them.
Yeah.
I will say I have collected thousands, literally thousands of business cards over the years. And I remember some years ago, I did a major purge where it was like a garbage can full of cards. But after I kind of transferred data and put it somewhere else, but yeah, thousands.
Okay, very good. Excellent. I was hoping that that was going to be the number. The same with me. And you know what? Those are also part of your sphere of influence. What I have done, here's another side note. I'm a pun girl. You were talking about puns earlier. I love my puns, but I am also a tangent girl. So when I collect, and I actually have a few to the left of me and a few to the right of me from yesterday's event that I was at, I will enter them into an Excel spreadsheet. But then one of my columns is what industry they are in. Okay. Then they go into a loose leaf binder. I have 3-inch loose leaf binders. I'm working on almost getting ready to have a 5th one because of all the business cards that I have. I put them in alphabetical order. I have an A section, B section, but then I don't put them in alphabetical order that way because I have them in my Excel spreadsheet. But if I'm going to go into, let's say I'm going to go into, beachside on Vero to have a meeting with someone, I might look at my 32963 section. I can query my database and then go, oh, I haven't seen that person in a while. And I might just stop in to a few different places just to keep myself organized. But that's more on a sales, that could be a sales training thing.
Lynn, excuse me, how do you alphabetize it? By company name, people's name? Which way do you?
Oh, actually, with the business cards in my 3-ring binders, it's by company name. But then with my Excel spreadsheet, I can alphabetize any which way that I would like and query. So I can query the database. So let's say, here's another good example. Somebody will say to me, I need an attorney. I need an attorney to help me go over business contracts. In my Excel spreadsheet, I have legal. Okay. So that could be attorneys, it could be paralegals. Okay. But I then query my database to find attorneys, and then I can look at the attorneys that handle contract negotiations and things like that. Or maybe it's business law that somebody is needing. So, and then I give them the names that I have. I do an email introduction. So those are some of the things that I do for the people that are in my sphere of influence.
Right. Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, San Telmo's, Manuel from San Telmo's in Sebastian,
yeah.
He sent me an email on Friday, and he wants to spotlight some female artists in the area. So he said, I need to find more women who are artists to create these exhibits. So I said, I know that Ben Ehrman is the head of the Cultural Council of Indian River County. And then I said, Sue Bromas of Main Street Vero Beach Association, she puts together the gallery strolls the first Friday of the month in Vero. So I gave him an email with their contact information, so he's a client of mine. And that's another thing that I love to do for my clients is, because yes, they're asking for help and they're paying me for a certain service, but I like to go the extra mile. And I think that's another reason why the clients that I have enjoy working with me, because they know that they can just, reach out. I get texts, I get emails, phone calls, looking for that kind of help. So
that's wonderful. And I would love for you to share, Ellen, a little bit more about how the different types of clients that you do have. So, and the types of clients that you're looking for.
Yes, as a matter of fact, that's part of my tips that I'm going to go over.
Are you going to get to that?
Okay. Oh yeah, definitely. So
okay.
Actually, what I wanted to do was I do have 5 tips to increase. And it's funny, I should have moved number 2 to number 1 because it's like my favorite. Number 2 is my favorite because I don't think a lot of people are doing that. But I'm going to start with tip number 1. And that is to go through, and I'm going to be looking at my notes, but to go through your list and think about the people that you are connected to, and put together just a preliminary list of people that you want to connect with and get to know more. Okay. Obviously, you want to deepen your connections because you want to grow your business. And there's nothing wrong with that, but always think about how you can also help the other person too. So put together a preliminary list. You and I know thousands of people. So if you just start off with a list of 20 people at a time to work through, and what you're going to do, these are people that you either want to connect with and get to know. Maybe you haven't spoken to them in a while, but you feel like you have ways that you can help them. So, and they might not be people that you can do business with directly, but if you know that they are highly connected, then they might be a good referral partner for you. So what you're going to do at that point is you're going to send a personal email, individual, so that it's not canned. And you're going to ask for some of their time. And it could be just say to them, I want to have a quick, phone call with you, or maybe Zoom. Some people enjoy meeting via Zoom. Or, some people like going out for coffee, but just say, I want to connect with you for a quick meeting. And if you have connected with them if they've connected with you on social media, thank them, for, hey, reaching out to me that way. Definitely want to, if there's something that you admire about them, write that down in the email, like why you want to connect with them, and give them a genuine compliment. Whenever I give anybody a compliment, I truly, truly mean it. Like, your glasses, I think, are awesome. You know what I mean? Honestly, and I've said that to you before. And when you meet with them, you are not going to be selling anything at all. Get that out of your mind. You don't want to sell them. And don't get me wrong, there are times where you're meeting with someone and you're asking questions about them first, and then they're going to ask questions about you. And somebody might say, oh my gosh, you do that? I was just thinking about reaching out to someone for that kind of help. That's wonderful if that happens that way. But basically, it's, you want to find out more about them as a person, where did they originally come from? Because here in Florida, people have moved from all over. What got them interested in starting the business that they're in? Find out more about their business, because, like, for me, it helps me to connect my connections with other people. And then eventually they're going to ask about you. So now they're learning about you. And then at the end of that meeting, ask them to send you some of their collateral material, like a PDF of what they offer. I like to, and if they have a newsletter and they want to sign up for newsletters. I have a file in my email inbox for newsletters. I read them and I file them. I don't delete them right away, because every now and then somebody will tell me something and it's like, wow, there was an article on that. So I forward that newsletter and people love that. And then at that meeting also, like what you just said a moment ago, is ask people, what is a good referral for them? Okay. And as you're chatting, you can even take notes, or maybe make mental notes and take notes after, but find out what a good referral is for them. And then you let them know. It's a very productive meeting, and it doesn't have to take that long. And then afterwards, yes, I take notes, and I have meeting notes in my computer, and somebody might make a comment about, their dog. Oh, your cat, Joey. I know Joey, right? But I like to make notes because when I'm revisiting people or calling them, I might ask, "Oh, how is Joey doing?" And they love when you remember your pet's name. Um, but anyway, so afterwards, send them a thank you email with your PDF of your information and say, again, if you know of anybody that needs my help, or if you ever need my help in the future, let me know. So that's a very soft call to action. Okay. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to say about that. But also keep a tickler file as well. So every few months, you might want to just reach out. You can send, sometimes I get texts from people that they just want to say, hi, hello, how are you? You can send a quick text if some people like to communicate via text. Sending a quick little email, hey, I'm going to be at such and such a networking event. You might like this. So every time you reach out and touch them, you're giving them some good information. And then of course, at some point down the road, you can then send them another email with what you're offering, and that way it could again turn into, hopefully, you just never know, a sale. And that email, like, this is what I'm offering now. If you need this, let me know, or forward it to someone that does. So that is idea number one. So before I move on to idea number two, do you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Well, I mean, that's a very comprehensive way to address. How is the sound? The sound okay, Ellen? It sounds like an echo to me.
Oh, no, you're not echoing to me at all.
Okay, maybe it's on my end. Hopefully it's not strange. Okay, all right, I think it's better now. All right, so yeah, I was just gonna say that was like a great way to connect and to reach out. Now, in the times, we're in COVID times, so we're not having as many in-person meetings like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
So how do you work around that in these times, these pandemic times?
Yes, so that's why I say a phone or a Zoom meeting. And then what I say to people is, I am getting out in the world again. So if you want to get out, like, I've met people at parks, outdoor at a park. I've met people for coffee outside. Some people meet inside for coffee. I happen to be fully vaccinated, and I let people know that. And then I've had people that wanted to meet but wear masks, and they say, is that okay? And absolutely, that's okay. I'll wear a mask during a meeting. So I always, put that in their court, because there are people that are happy to get out and about, and there are people that are not ready to do that yet. They might have a mom or a dad that they're tending to and looking after, and they have to protect their parents, so they have to keep themselves sequestered, and that's fine. So,
Well, thank you. No, sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I wanted to just cycle back a little bit, a couple steps back to the four main areas where you were talking about the sphere of influence reside in. So, you mentioned number one was friends and family. You mentioned social media platforms, and then networking groups. What was number four? Was friends and family one and two, or is there a fourth one that I'm
friends and family was number one, social media pages, networking groups, and then your business cards. And the reason I mentioned the business cards is, when I tell people how I handle mine, a lot of people are like, are you kidding me? And some people have shown me a shoebox, and it's not alphabetized, it's just cards in a shoebox. And then I start to get a hot flash from, oh my God.
You know what, Ellen? Here's the thing. I think this is a really important point, because a lot of people will meet a lot of people. Some of them are relevant to what we're doing, and some may not be. But you met them and you have their card. How do you classify if it's something that you perceive as not really useful or germane to what you're doing? Do you kind of have marginalized cards over here? Like, how do you handle not classifying every single thing, or do you classify every single thing?
Yeah, so like, and that's a very good question because I've, like there's some networking groups that I belong to where people will say, I like this group, but there happens to be, let's say, a lot of MLM people in it. And they think that the
Multi-level
MLM
marketing.
people, yeah, they're like, and I say, no, 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 don't go, don't do that because those people may know people that need your services. Okay. So now
Right.
here's the thing, as you start to go through the people that are in your group, okay, some people, when you have that initial meeting with, you might find, wow, this could be a very good, strong alliance for us both. Maybe they have a need for your service and they know other people. So that, like, you're gonna eventually, as you go through your group, you're going to find people that you need to stay in touch with more often. There might be other people that you've met with and they're really lovely people, and but they might not be as good of a referral source for you or you for them. There's nothing wrong with that. So you might not interact with them as often. You're gonna if you're connected on social media, stay connected. But if you've met them at a networking group, then connect with them on social media so you can keep in touch with them in a way. But it doesn't mean that you have to constantly email and call them. You might have them in your tickler file sporadically. But the interesting thing is people change what they're doing. So somebody who might not have been a good referral source for you 2 years ago might have up leveled their career and gotten into a position where all of a sudden it's like, wow, now the two of you can really work together in some capacity. So that's why I think that everyone is important. I have seen in networking groups how people just are very dismissive. And I say to myself, ooh, that's not a good way to be. So if there's advice that I could share, it's really everybody is important. You just,
Well, I think that's brilliant advice right there. I think that's really golden advice. And it's interesting because sometimes at a networking event, you can literally see them classifying who they think is worth talking to. Or if they're talking to you, but they really want to talk to someone else and they dismiss you and go elsewhere or what have you, but it's done in a way that is very short-sighted. And that
yeah,
tends to be the problem, is that people don't never know who you know. And so they may think, well, they're not seeing certain numbers, or they're not seeing certain quantities, or whatever their metric may be, and
yeah.
not realizing that they could have a very faulty metric that doesn't allow them to capture the value that truly exists.
Yes, and that is very true. And there are times where at the end of an event where people are still lingering and chatting, I might see someone that I say, wow, I really wanted to talk to that person. And if somebody is chatting with me, what I will do is I'll chat with them for a moment and then I will introduce them to someone else and I will say, pardon me, but this person is getting ready to walk out the door and I needed to say something to them. So now the person knows I've given them time. I have connected them to somebody else that I think they should talk to. And that frees me up to go, grab that person before they walk out the room. So that's how I like to handle things.
Yeah, I think those are very good insights. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah. So, okay. So now the other idea that I had is creating what I call a fun and unique event, an event on a small scale. So here is an example that I have about carefully curating a group of people for a specific event. Now, I have done this even on my talk show. COVID hit, and boy, that was not fun last year. So at the end of December, I have usually one holiday show. And I decided, no, I'm going to have 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks, I'm going to have two consecutive holiday shows. I can have up to 3 people in the studio. And I thought about it and I said, let me carefully curate a group of people that have been on my show. And I want to bring 3 people together that I think the audience would like. Like, I created a theme that the audience would like. But then I thought these 3 people might enjoy meeting each other. So I had a fitness, or not a fitness, a health and wellness talk show. And then I had food and wine. Okay, because food and wine go well together. So the guests that I had on those 2 shows fit that theme. We had a great time, but then they enjoyed chatting with each other. And then they set up meetings with each other. So that was a win-win for everyone. So what I'm thinking of is creating a group of 3 or 4 people. And again, if people, and you could do this via Zoom, but I was thinking like in person, if you put 3 or 4 people together and you say to them why you think that they should get to know each other, and then you meet up for, it could be coffee, okay, or even, after hours, getting together and saying, I'm going to invite you to such and such a beautiful, like, because in Vero Beach we have gorgeous bars along the beach, bar and restaurants. So where are we going, you and I, tomorrow afternoon? We're going to be poolside enjoying noshes and lovely libations, okay? And I'm putting you together with 2 other ladies who are authors, because I think the three of you would love to just get to know each other better. Okay. So what you can say to this group of 3 or 4 people is, I'm going to buy the first round and you get some noshes, or you invite them out for coffee and get everybody pastries and just sit and chat and get to know each other, because these people are going to appreciate that you want to introduce them to one another. And that is also helping them increase their sphere of influence. But you're creating a fun event. You're thinking about how you're going to help others. But of course, it can also help you as well. So it's a really nice, win-win situation. And
I to interject with that, Ellen, is that when you do that, which I think is beautiful, because I'm very much looking forward to interacting tomorrow with Janet and Diane. And I've met Diane Moret before, and I really admire her. So, but I haven't had a chance to spend much time with her. So it'll be really great to connect with her in that way. And then I will get to meet Janet, who I don't know at all. So I think it's very wise of you to be able to see where the synergies exist between different people, bring them together, and then just like what you're saying. So it's kind of like having this vision that's more far-sighted, and realizing it's a long-term development. It's not just an immediate thing. It can be, but then it can blossom over time and lay the foundation for other things going forward.
Yeah. So, and you can also, further expand this idea where, yes, meeting for, some cocktails and some noshes is fun, but then you could say, with another group, that maybe we want to talk about, a business issue that we're having that, maybe we could help solve, it's like a mini mastermind session. Business owners do naturally, when they get together, talk about, what's kind of, keeping them up at night or bothering them or whatever. So it could be a really, nice conversation to have. And then when somebody talks about an issue that they're dealing with, maybe somebody else in the group dealt with that situation and have great advice to give, or knows somebody that can solve that problem and work with them. So, so yeah, it's, it's almost like a breakout session of a networking group, but you are curating, and I love that word that you use, synergy, finding the synergy of people. I call it the chocolate peanut butter moment of why I want to put people together. Because I like, Reese's peanut butter cups. So
Chocolate and peanut butter. Okay, there you go. Very good.
Okay, so another tip that I have, because I'm looking at our time, is getting on the board of a nonprofit that you are passionate about. There are so many business owners that are happy to be sponsors of events or donate and, things like that, but maybe considering getting onto the board of a nonprofit. That is an amazing way. It's always nice if you have a little bit of time to give your expertise to the benefit of a nonprofit to help them. But then there might be other people that are on that board or that are connected with the nonprofit that, it would be great for you to build alliances with. So that's another good thing. And then also there are boards of civic associations like Chambers of Commerce, Rotary, industry and trade associations. I was on, with a different employer, I was a member of the Economic Development Council of St. Lucie County, and I was on one of their event committees. Things like that really help put you in touch with people that you might know of, but never really got a chance to get to know.
Right.
So
Right.
that's a very
Like being on a committee, like if you're a part of a organization, you could be on a committee, like you're saying, like an events committee or a sponsor, type of a committee.
Yeah.
Whatever creates more bonds between you and people.
Yes. So now here's another good example. We Venture, okay, based in Brevard. So their website is weventure.fit.edu, and they help business owners, whether you're just launching, you're growing, or even you're trying to transition and sell your business. They can help you in every stage, and they offer free services, low cost services. They're amazing. Well, there's a huge event that happens every year that's wildly popular in Vero Beach, Women, Wine, and Shoes. And they are now going to take that event over this year for a fundraiser for them. So now I went to their first planning meeting, and they have a lot of committees. So I told them that there are 2 committees that I know that I could offer a lot of value. So I am not on the board of We Venture, but for this one event, I'm going to be on a committee. So depending on what you want to do, you can, look to be a board member, or you can, just go on to one of their committees. There's lots of different ways to get involved. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. So let's see here. So social media groups, there are a lot of groups. I have to say, Facebook, I've been added to groups that I don't even know about. I don't even know how people they can automatically add you. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But with LinkedIn and with Facebook, like especially LinkedIn, you can get into a group and people are posting questions and you can answer questions and people get to know you. And, I guess you're a subject matter expert on things. So people seek you out. So you can look at those groups and then again, be active in them and then reach out and then get to know people better. So those types of groups are another great way. But you can easily, you just have to schedule your time. Time management then comes into play with these tips. That's a whole other thing that we can get into. And then connections. I touched on this at the very beginning. People reach out to me to connect, and I'm happy to accept their connections on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. And but what I like to do is take it a step further and say thank you so much. I'll do a personal email or I'll call. Like there's a few people that have connected with me that I really am intrigued by what they do. So I'm going to give them a call or I'm going to send them an email and I'm going to ask for more information. And that helps me help other people. So that was the last tip that I wanted to give, is mining your connections. There might be people that have reached out to you that, or actually, no, this is what I was going to say. There are people that connect to you that have connections. And you're like, wow, that person knows that person. I'd like to get to know that person. So you can call who you're connected to and just explain why you would like an introduction and see if they'll facilitate that introduction for you. People have done that to me, and I get to know them and then the why, and then I'm happy to facilitate an introduction by email.
What you're sharing with me reminds me of a story. Some years ago, with my business, Kasuri, I was at a trade show, and it was a huge trade show with thousands of people there. And I met a gentleman who said, I'm only here to meet 5 people. My goal at that trade show was to try to go to every booth, do this, do that, just get around, meet as many people as I possibly could. And he said, I'm here to meet 5 people. And once I meet those 5 people, I'm going to play golf. And when I heard that, I was like, at first I was caught aback thinking, well, why would you just want to meet 5 people when there are thousands of people to meet? But what he was saying was, you want to be very focused on who you're trying to connect with. So I would love to get your perspective on this regarding, and I totally understand the perspective you shared today, but then there's another dimension where it's not about meeting everyone. And when you try to meet everyone, you end up maybe meeting no one. So how do you find the balance? And I know a lot has to do with context. Like if I'm at a big trade show, you have to have a purpose and what is the goal? So maybe the goal is to meet everyone, so how would you respond to that?
Yes. So I've been to conferences all over the United States. I was at New Orleans for a Microsoft Convergence conference. I've been to McCormick Place. I've been out to, Las Vegas. I've been to all of the most of the big convention centers. And it can be mind-boggling. It's exciting, So now, for that gentleman, that is great. But if you are going to get on a plane and go through all that hassle that we now have to go through to get to a location, so yes, to have that list of people, while you're there. But I would also, after I have met those people, I probably would spend time walking the floor, and it is, So these types of conventions can almost be overwhelming. But just like a networking event that we go to monthly, where there could be 50 to 80 people at a time, those are actually more manageable because they happen monthly. And yes, the same people don't go every month, but if you go consistently and when you walk into that room, don't worry about trying to talk to everybody that's there. It's not going to happen. My thought is that if I walk out of that room and if I've had 2 or 3 really good conversations, that makes me happy. And I do try to engage and disengage, not spending too much time talking to one person. And again, I don't just walk away because I've seen someone else. I've talked to you, you've talked to me. This is a great conversation. And then I bring someone else in, and then I disengage, but I do circle back with an email. It was, nice to chat with you or whatever. So yeah, so don't worry about those monthly events where there's a lot of people. It's a big elephant. You eat it one bite at a time. When you go to an annual mega show, okay, that can be definitely overwhelming. And that's why you look at the exhibitor list beforehand, and you make a list of who you really want to, the type of companies that you really want to visit their booth, you know, and then there's evening events, networking events. So again, you treat it like, just a big room, and don't make yourself nuts, by trying to work the whole room.
And you know what? That's so true, Ellen. And also with those big events, one thing I found too is that when you go to the smaller things, like they'll have the breakfast that start at 7:30 in the morning, or they'll have, some of those things where there are usually less people, you get an opportunity. And if you go early, you could sit at a table with your ideal person that could be there early too. And you don't have to fight for their attention and all this kind of stuff. So it's amazing just being prepared and ready to go, and showing up.
Yes.
Right? Just showing up.
And you know what? And be willing to share cabs. So at the end of a conference many years ago, I was in New York. I was working for a technology startup, and I'm the marketing and communications person, and I have to do PR stuff. And so I'm getting ready to go to the airport. I'm at the hotel. They're getting a cab for me. And this guy from the convention was like, "Oh, are you going to the airport?" And I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Can I share this cab with you?" Yes, you can. Because he was from the convention. He was a stranger, but not, you know what I'm saying? I knew I was safe to share the cab. Do you know that he was an editor for a magazine that I wanted to pitch a story to?
There you go.
If I said no, that was great. It was excellent. It was just, it was wonderful. So.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Those are great stories, and being open to those things it is really, you never know who you're going to meet. So, but I just love the whole approach that you have, that openness to connecting with people, and not only for how it can benefit you, but how they can benefit working with others. So Ellen, so how do people work with you? How can they benefit now from what you offer, and how can they get in touch with you and so forth?
So what I like to do is I like to have meetings with people and learn about, like, people will sometimes call me up specifically or email me specifically, and they will say, I need help with marketing, or I need help with, they'll tell me what they need help with. But when I first meet with people, and I suggest a coffee meeting, it's really to get to know them, a little bit more. And then I tell them a little bit about what I do. And really what I want to do is I want to help people just keep growing in their business. And so, yes, somebody, might need help with marketing and branding and awareness and advertising. And I can help in that area. If they, let's just say that they, I don't know, it could be anything where it's a company that has multiple employees, whether it's a law firm, manufacturing, a medical office. If they're telling me that they're expanding or that a key person is leaving and I don't know what to do, I have a company with a team of recruiters, and they are results driven, and they get stuff done. And the nice thing about that is that you usually don't have to pay them until they find somebody. So that's awesome. And then if somebody is new in their business and they are getting customers and sales are happening, but they are now spending longer hours into the evening because they're doing their books and they're doing their own social media. It's like, okay, now you have money coming in that you can now start delegating. And what does that look like for you? Do you want to outsource those services? Or do you want to have a bookkeeper directly on your payroll? So when they envision what is going to be the best solution, I can help them either way, providing them with outsourced services. And then I stay in touch with people. I want to make sure that they're continually happy, that their needs are being met, and then continue to help them along the way by aligning them with the right resources. So,
okay, excellent.
Yeah.
And people can find you at tcconnector.com, www.tcconnector.com, and I will be putting up a blog post on our talk today's on my website, superchargedwithemily.com or emilymchugh.com, so people can see, and they can get all your links as well as here in Facebook. And of course, if there are any questions, I want to thank the people who have watched with us. We had Yvonne and Sharon. Thank you guys for coming on.
And people can call me on my cell, 772-925-4557, and if they want to be on my talk show, I'm, I have dates available, June going forward, so.
And they can be reached at tcconnector@gmail.com and on Facebook at Treasure Coast Connector. So you can easily find Ellen and connect with her and tap into these great resources that are here for us. So Ellen, I know our time is up, but I just wanted to just quickly recap the 1 through 5 for anyone who may have missed it, just real quick, the headline, and then we'll just summarize with that.
Yes, so it is, the 5 ways to increase your sphere of influence with people that you're connected to through friends and family, social media pages, networking groups, the business cards that you have collected over the years, reaching out individually, asking for meetings in person or over the phone, carefully curating a small group of people, taking them out for coffee and pastries, buying a round of drinks at a really lovely, I don't like to say bar, but you know what I'm talking about, one of the beautiful meeting place establishments, buying a round of drinks and some noshes, and getting to know them and introducing them to people you think that they would like to meet, getting on the board of a nonprofit or on a committee and volunteering some of your time and getting to know people, or through a industry trade association. Check out the connections of the people that you're connected with. If there's somebody you want to meet, ask to, have an introduction facilitated for you. Get involved in your social media groups, getting involved in those chats and answering questions, and, developing relationships with people that way. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that overview. And I want to add a quick one to that, like alumni associations, schools you may have gone to or so forth.
Yes.
That's also a great way to add that to your list and to continue to think of maybe past employers or whatever it is, but think of all the places you've touched in your life over the course of time. Maybe it's a national affiliation, a cultural affiliation, or something of that sort. So there are many ways, or religious or what have you, there are many ways to think of, and I think we go on autopilot sometimes, forgetting that we just go through our lives and we don't remember these organizations like that. But if we were to step back and really think of your sphere of influence, can be quite tremendous, and especially now with media amplifying the message even more. So Ellen, I really appreciate that you highlighted these important things for us to consider, these important aspects, and how to really increase. The goal is to increase your sphere of influence, and by so doing, you increase your potential opportunities and you increase, you make it easier to market, right? At the end, when all is said
Oh,
and
yeah.
done, because you're constantly top of mind as opposed to being a rarity. So I really appreciate your doing this, and thank you for being on Supercharged Sunday. And I want to, and people can, as I said, connect with you and follow your shows and everything. And I invite people to come back tomorrow. I'm doing my Momentum Mondays for just a few minutes in my Supercharged with Emily group, starting your week off on the right foot with the energy that you need to carry you through, where we kind of explore certain specific ideas that will help you expedite your business success.
Yeah, thank you
So
for
that's,
having me. This was fun.
well, it's always fun, Ellen, and I look forward to being on your show tomorrow.
Yes, it's going to be great.
We're taking turns, but no, it's been wonderful. So thanks again, and thanks everyone for being here. In the meantime, stay supercharged, and we'll see you next week with another wonderful Supercharged Sunday guest. And thanks again, Ellen. Okay, bye everybody.